Well, welcome. This is Rocky Romero with Peers on Demand, and it's just my pleasure to be able to provide for you a learning message that I have on reading. And those are what the greats like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Warren Buffett have taught us is that we can learn a lot better, a lot faster by those that have written something already. So let's get started. Today, we're going to cover mental reading learning. And we'll find out about reading objectives and how to synthesize that information from multiple sources, and also tools for synthesizing that information, and also practices for using those tools very effectively. And of course, projects that we could use these tools for, best reading techniques and how to improve efficiency. And something that I learned before when I was taking neurolinguistic programming is syntopic reading. It's unveiling deeper understanding of reading by having multiple sources. And of course, then we'll summarize shortly thereafter. So let's get started. Reading objectives. Here's what we find is that in reading, there's multiple areas that I set some targets to be able to get better at reading. And so the key here is that there's multiple techniques in reading, one of which is photo reading, the ability to be able to photo read. It's a skill, a technique that was developed by learning strategies to be able to peruse the book, photo read the book, capture that information into your subconscious, and then be able to come back to it at a later time to read it at a different pace. So photo reading is one of the things that personally I want to do on a daily basis. And it starts with an overview, skimming through the information, actually photo reading the book by flipping through the pages at a rapid pace, and trusting that your subconscious is going to capture that information. Capturing that essence, you could write a one-sentence summary if you like, or trigger words. And then, of course, prepare the book for reading it in the evening by going through it more specifically. So that's been one of the things of reading a book a day. And how do I want to do that? Is by reading the book in the morning, photo reading it, and then reserving it to process in the evening so that I can read it a lot more quickly, having had space time for learning in the meantime. So how can I review the books on my iPad or iPhone? Now, Kindle's a very good space for reading the books. I like doing that there, and that's my preference. And also, if I need to carry it over to the phone is a lot smaller. So my preference is iPad. On a computer, it's just a little bit too large. So the iPad is a perfect space for that. I do use apps like Kindle. I have used iBooks. I do take notes, and I integrate it with other areas like mind mapping. So can I read 27,000 books in my lifetime? So I thought, how many more days would I have in my lifetime? And I guessed and I calculated. And so if I read one book a day, that would be 27,000 books a day. It's an aspiration, certainly a very challenging aspect, but I can do that by prioritizing the books, utilize photo reading, and combine different reading methods, like photo reading, like syntopic reading, like being able to do speed reading. How can I research different books? Now that's what I'm finding with artificial intelligence, that I can find the information better and a lot faster. There are some online databases that I could tap into. Of course, library catalogs, and of course, specialized websites, or something that's very specific, like that article, or something even more like Plato, or something from the Stoics or Socrates. Again, going to online libraries, academic databases, and of course, philosophy websites. Going on, How can I engage some topic reading on NLP or coaching? As a coach, I need to be able to absorb information that is current and applicable to my clients and that would help us boost. And so some topic reading is one of those things that allows me to capture similar topic books. Like Peter Diamandis has different books on the future is faster than you think, as well as on flow state. And with bringing the same author with very similar topics, I can do some topic reading and actually photo read each of those books. So how does it work? Gather the resources, create multiple books on a particular topic, review it, skim it, identify the common themes, synthesize the information, combine the information, identify any key text that I want to capture, and compare and contrast. What is one book similar to another book, to another book, to another book, and contrast each of those? What are the messages that are bringing and coming to me? Synthesize the insights, compile it and condense the insights so that I can communicate it to other people. And so that's been a really interesting way to absorb information and capture it very quickly. How can I photo read a dictionary on a monthly basis? Now, dictionary is the foundation for our language, and we can do this in English or Spanish or other languages, and I'm testing that out, even if I may not know that language. The subconscious, I'm trusting the subconscious that has probably 8 to 10 times the capacity of my conscious mind to be able to trust it, that it would capture it. So by photo reading it, will it enhance my vocabulary? Probably, more than likely. And the key is to set a schedule to do that. Photo read the dictionary, review the terms, apply the knowledge, focus on key terms, and build the vocabulary by remembering the words, the definition, and being able to use that in conversation or as often as I can, integrating it with other reading. Interestingly enough, the ability to understand vocabulary has allowed me to understand complex concepts that other authors are putting together. So doing that on a monthly basis is something that I aspired to and wanted to do. So let's move on. There's some other areas: synthesizing information from multiple sources. How does that work? Well, identify key themes from the sources and group them together. Create a comparison chart. How do they compare from source to source? Summarize each source, the strengths, the weaknesses, the biases. Analyze the relationships and the connections. Develop a synthesis that is very unique to myself or to yourself. Organize it so that you can come back to it often and often for thoughts or ideas. What are the conclusions? How can you communicate that to others? Revision and revise for memory retention, for clarity, for coherence, completeness, and of course, to communicate it to other people. Synthesize the information from multiple sources. Tools for using this. There are some different tools that I use. Note-taking, of course, is very key. I use Apple Note. I have used Evernote. I have used Microsoft. Notion is one of those that I'm intrigued by. Certainly the key is more of a preference. And my preference has tended to be to something that's easy to adapt and communicate with others. Here's some management software: Sotero, Mendeley, and Note. Mind mapping tools are my favorite on this. I am using MindMeister. I am using XMind. I am using mind mapping tools because I find that my point of entry is a lot easier. and I can move the information very easily from place to place to place, depending on how my mind is working at the time. And data visualization tools, there is Microsoft, of course, and Google. And some of these tools I know about. And my preferences for data visualization actually is Microsoft PowerPoint, to be able to create a PowerPoint from the mind maps. Collaboration and file sharing, of course, Google Drive is top of mind. Microsoft Teams, Dropbox, and outlining and writing tools. These I'm familiar with. I've used Trello and Workflowy. Search and discovery tools. Now, this is great for searching information, although I'm tending more and more for ChatGPT, artificial intelligence at this point, the general large language learning tools. Practicing using these tools effectively. I do it on a daily basis consistently and integrating with other areas. I look for reference management software that I can use and be able to synchronize mind mapping tools, of course, for visual aids, for collaboration, for clear structure, and for myself. If I can communicate it to myself, then of course I can communicate it better to others. Data visualization tools, storytelling is my favorite. And actually, if I can remember the beginning, middle, and end, and a call to action, a CTA, then it makes it a very powerful tool. Collaboration, file sharing platforms, sharing folders with permissions, outlining and writing tools. And here's some of the templates and drafts. Search and discovery tools, advanced search, alerts, cross-referencing. Again, my searching skills are tending more towards ChatGPT, Perplexity. Google has a tool. Microsoft is coming on board also with a tool. Projects using these tools and best practices for academic research. And I do my own research and use MindMaster and Google. Business strategy, Microsoft, and of course, looking at different outcomes. Best practices, the storytelling, the shared folders, and product development project. And of course, Notion, Trello are very good for that. But best practices, outline first, which helps me with a mind map, drafts, visual aids, collaboration. I'm finding that I'm learning more and more tools that are coming on the market that are using artificial intelligence skills with that. Best reading techniques to improve reading efficiency. I like to use my fingers to speed as a pointer. It keeps my eyes on the page and I keep moving and flowing. Chunking, we could chunk up and chunk down. Chunking, expanding the vision to process more words at a time. And of course, picking up keywords and trusting the subconscious is catching most of that. Subvocalization, minimize the inner voice. Practice silent reading. And in some cases, I have a mantra that I go through that. Keep the state, see the page. Keep the state, see the page as I'm photo reading. Previewing and skimming, preview quickly, skim for main ideas. Use of speed reading apps. I have not used these because I haven't had a need to go externally besides the book. So you may practice or attempt to look at these, but I think you can do without those and just use the book itself. Regular practice, timed readings. I set a ballpark timing, but not a specific timing. It's whatever and how long it takes to photo read the book, and being able to, by that, practice the daily drills of 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the state, see the page. Keep the state, see the page. That's takes care of the inner voice. As I'm going through, occasionally I'll ask questions. What do I need to know about this? What's important? how can I communicate it to others? And in some cases, summarizing at the end of the chapter or at the end of the book. And of course, peripheral vision training. Train the vision to see more words at a time. It does take practice. One of the things that helps is to go outdoors and look at the horizon and look from the sides of the eyes so that the eyes get accustomed to looking widely. And of course, being able to accelerate your reading speed. And so the final thing, reading, syntopic reading. We touched on it a little bit earlier. It's a deeper understanding. And what exactly is that? Is the ability to read at a powerful pace with an ongoing process to continue the flow of the information. Capture the key text, diverse perspectives that each book may have, historical context, practical applications, and of course, The Inventor with Richard Bandler, John Grindler. They have books that you can sharpen up and polish up on that. Compare and contrast. Compare the books. Contrast for key concepts. What are the core concepts, methodologies, applications, and create a framework for that. And synthesize the insights. Condense it so that you have the commonalities, the differences, and formulate my own perspective, your own perspective. What are the benefits of doing this? It's certainly a deeper understanding. If you're pressed for time and need abundance of information on particular topics, it's a great way to absorb that information. You can always go back and dive deeper into that, but certainly this gives you a higher level, improves your critical thinking, and of course, enhances the ability to apply it to the application that you're focusing. And of course, personal growth. You're developing a habit of learning consistently and absorbing information and communicating to others. There's many benefits of doing it. So let's summarize. Book summaries. Consider using those book summaries as a point of entry and piquing your interest to see if it's worthwhile reading it a little bit more. And then actually with the book itself, looking at photo reading and then speed reading techniques. Audiobooks or podcasts is a good way to synthesize the information. Note-taking systems. I do mind mapping. I do take snapshot pictures. You could join reading communities. I find that those communities are helpful, especially if you want to have a dialogue and the flexibility afterwards. Mind mapping, my preferred use of coagulating information and absorbing it, especially not just for myself, but also from external sources. Meditation and focus. I meditate before I read. I meditate afterwards to improve my focus. Active recall is to be able to use those key words throughout the day and in my languaging and in my communications. Metacognition, the ability to recognize at a higher level, reflecting on the reading that has been done, identifying for improvements. Thematic reading, reading about particular themes or topics that interest. And I find that I go on those tangents until I've exhausted my capacity to learn or my patience for learning that. Teach what you learn. And I think that's one of the most important things is we're learners forever. And to learn better, I think it's up to us to be able to teach what we've learned consistently. I do that daily when I'm in events, and I create events to be able to do that. So that's a quick look at mental reading learning. We're doing it on a daily basis, morning and evening as end books to the day, and to be able to progress further in a condensed environment. So if you want to learn more about this, please visit us at peersondemand.com for a condensed and also expanded version of this topic and any other topics that we have on an ongoing basis. This is Rocky Romero with Peers on Demand, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.